How many minutes will Nico
Iamaleava
play against UConn? I'm putting the over-under at 15 minutes. And I wonder if Gaston Moore will play more minutes than Nico will. Let me start with you, John. It's going to be a blowout. It's going to be out of control by halftime. Over under in minutes. How many do you think he will play? How much does he play against UConn?
It's hard to project with minutes. Why don't we go with plays?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, we can do that.
You look, the look on your face says, no, I said minutes, and that's what we're doing. It's my show.
No. Plays. Let's go plays. I like plays.
Okay. I'll say 15 plays.
Let's put the over-under at 15 plays, Caleb.
Well, let's have your input. We'll come to consensus. I don't want it to all be Caleb might think more than that or less.
I'll put it at 14 and a half plays. Are you taking the over or the under? Caleb, are you taking the over or the under?
I'm taking the under. I got to be honest. I think you guys are. This is the second time y'all are doing this. I mean, what was it? What was it George Bush said? Fool me, can't get fooled again. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. We already had this conversation, and it was after the Virginia game where Tennessee blew out Virginia, and we all came, and John, you sat with us. We're like, how much you think Nico's going to play against Austin Peay? Because they're obviously just going to fall out of bed and just blow out Austin Peay. And what happened? He never saw the field because Joe Milton
never saw the field. And he never saw he didn't play against UTSA either. So Caleb has a valid point, and one of our contributors says none.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are just thinking that last week is evidence of a blowout. I'm not so sure this team, and I'm going to say this much about Joe Milton right now. I'm very high on how well he played last week. I give him a lot of credit. Are we sure Joe Milton can handle success
against UConn?
I love the way with Joe.
P.
It really doesn't matter what Joe Milton does. He's always going to raise questions. How will he play on the road? How will he play in a big game? And now Caleb introduces, how will he play with success? I mean, he had a great game against Kentucky. I would think he wanted to, continue to improve on that and finish on going upward here. But I had an email after a very laudable column I did on Joe Milton after the Kentucky game. I thought it was the best game he's played. He completed passes on the run. He was accurate. He threw with good touches. There were no boneheaded out of bounds runs. And this guy said, well, maybe I need new peepers, he said. But I didn't see any difference in Joe Milton against Kentucky than I did any other game.
Well,
okay, no one said that.
I thought he played really well.
I
feel like there's some people out there like the NFL draft where they say tank for Tua like it's bozo for Nico. He needs to play like a complete bozo so Nico can play more. I feel like there's some people that want that regardless of the score of the game, guys.
Okay, well, let's reshape the question there. Is there a possibility that Nico won't play in this game?
Yes.
How, Caleb?
He didn't play against Austin Peay. How are you going to howl me on this when he didn't play against Austin Peay? Like, how are you guys trying to pretend that game didn't happen?
Hey, but Tennessee's a better team now, though, right? They've developed. Cooper Mays is back in the offensive line. That gives Joe Milton the more of a comfort zone. So, I don't think we'll have a what?
But Brew McCoy is out, and he wasn't out against Austin Peay.
Well, but he has Chaz Nimrod now.
Yeah, nothing changes.
How many plays did he play, by the way, after that touchdown catch?
I don't know. Not as many. He seemed like he made that one big play.
It's kind of like Coach Jones level personnel management. You hate to say.
Okay, but let me ask you this, guy.
Jeez.
just throwing in.
Yeah,
But guys, let me ask you this: does it make Nico any better, really, to come out there and start the second half and play against UConn because it's 42-0? Do those snaps and plays against UConn with the stands half empty make you much better?
at least he gets it up there. You know what it does more? It does more for the fan base than it does for Nico. I don't think you want your fan base chanting on homecoming. I don't think you want your fan base chanting, "We want Nico." And I think that's what you'll have in that second half until Tennessee puts him in. Unless, as Caleb says, UConn turns into an Austin P. Never thought I would be saying that in a complimentary way. It turns into Austin P. and is suddenly competitive. And and look at the UTSA game too, because that game, what was it? Wasn't it 31-0?
Yeah.
And
and John, you brought this up, and the other day, Gary Harper says he needs to play to prove the fans that he's not a bust, and the coaches are hiding it.
Well, that's a dark take.
Well, no, but you brought it up the other day, and I thought it's not the worst thought in the world because he's not playing at all. What if now I was told that he was ready to go, but what's this person supposed to say? That Gaston Moore's ready to go? I mean, everybody's ready to go to some extent. You could run 5 plays, but yeah, if he doesn't play at all, don't you have serious concerns about Mr. Hey now. Oh, wrong one.
Sorry. He made it to the bus on time. He's ready to go. Not all of Wade Houston's basketball players could accomplish that on some of their road trips, but that's another story.
I want to be real clear. I've been told by people that would know that he's absolutely not a bust. But Caleb, what if, with all the expectations and all the excitement, he's just throwing every incomplete and interception pass during practice, and they're like, "Holy cow, what have we done?" And Merklinger, come on down. I mean, what kind of impact would that have on Tennessee's fan base?
I mean, that would have a bad impact. Then you really would wish Butch Jones. He really would wish Butch Jones was coaching them, because Butch Jones would see that and then be like, "I'm going to start that guy," the way he did Nathan Peterman back in 2013.
Oh, the Nathan Peterman game. A future NFL quarterback.
Yeah, who threw 5 interceptions and a half.
I think he was. I mean, however you feel about it, I think he was the guy specifically named in the Colin Kaepernick lawsuit because they were like, "How is this guy in the NFL?"
Here's not the worst idea from Arthur. I think Jake and Nico should only leave Joe on the bench. Who's
Jake's not on the team. Jake's not on the team till next year. He's a commitment at quarterback.
I know, but they still think he should play. You could fly him in for the game and let him play.
Should you start Nico against UConn?
No, is okay. John, you weren't here last week, but Dave was like basically thinking Gaston Moore's the next Peyton Manning on the show.
Nobody said that.
And so Dave's like really high on Gaston Moore. He loves Gaston Moore. It's his favorite player in Tennessee history. And he was telling us all, if you just start him, he'll win the Heisman just with November games. I mean, Dave was really that big on Gaston.
I think the most disturbing thing you said there was, John, you were not here last week. I was here.
No, when he was doing that last week.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I know you were here last week on the show.
Nobody thinks that Nico is a bust, but David says you can't start Nico. He's a bust. There we go.
Okay, how about this? What if Nico has
way off topic?
Well, what about a health issue? And not that he has a serious injury, but what if Tennessee is concerned about? I think Caleb has expressed this before. It's kind of a scaredy cat philosophy. Appropriate on Halloween? What if Nico, they're concerned that he's not sturdy enough, that he's too thin to be taking hits at the college level?
Forever?
No, just for this year.
No, for this season.
Okay. Well, good Lord. I stood next to Casey Clausen. I could have bench pressed him at the time. I mean,
Okay, but you guys keep, because John has brought up Peyton Manning and Fulmer's brought up, Fulmer, listen to me. Dave has brought up Casey Clausen.
oh, wow.
Well,
Did you just call me Philip Fulmer? John now hates me.
Ooh.
But
Hey, Dave, I got to sign off now, okay? I just thought of I think I need to clean out my closet. I'll see you guys later.
All I was trying to say was my head was going to Fulmer with his philosophy with Clausen and Manning. It's different than what Heupel's philosophy is with his quarterbacks. Heupel wants his quarterbacks to use their legs and run, and he has designed running plays for them. I don't think Fulmer and Cutcliffe had one designed run ever for Manning and Clausen. I think them combined, there was not one, except for one time in the 6 overtime win over Arkansas. Fulmer thought it'd be a good idea to call a quarterback draw with Casey Clausen on the 2-point conversion. Yeah, that didn't work at all. But normally, I felt that the reason you could have them be a little bit smaller is you aren't trying to use their legs or put them in positions to take a lot of hits. In Josh Heupel's system, the quarterback has to get hit some. So, I mean, that's a lot different because they have to run. They have to be able to run. He calls design runs a lot. The reason Joe Milton has finally turned it on, I think Joe Milton was limited because he couldn't run the way he usually does at the beginning of the year. I think he was more hurt than Heupel let on. He used his legs the last 2 weeks, and look what's happened. That's a huge part of the offense.
Okay. For the message board, just if I may moderate, I think some things are being lost via text. Nobody thinks that Nico is a bust.
And nobody thinks Gaston's Peyton Manning either, except Dave, but
except me. And I think he's more arch.
Man, could you imagine Derek Dooley coaching Gaston Moore, since I'm the Derek Dooley fan and Dave is the Gaston Moore fan? Oh my man, that'd be a match made in heaven, right? Right, John? Derek Dooley coaching Gaston Moore.
I remember Derek Dooley putting who was it? Justin Worthy in a game against Alabama. I think they were on about the 1 yard line. I think that was Justin Worthy who did that too. Welcome to college football.
How many shirts do you think I could have sold at the beginning of the year that said "Go Bozo" for Nico"? Just that Joe Milton needs to play as poorly as possible so that Nico can play.
I don't think fans would interpret that message the way you would want them to, so I don't think you would have sold it, but a few.
Wouldn't sell that much.
No.
Well, I know what that's
really
like.
Bad idea, Dave.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know what not selling a lot of shirts is like.
Okay. So let's get back to the question.
Okay.
Do we have a consensus? What's our consensus? We think Nico will play about how many minutes? Caleb says none.
No, plays. You said plays. 14 and a half. You're the one that changed
minutes. Okay.
I think you'll play just over 15 plays. I like your over-under.
You said 14 and a half. Go ahead, Caleb.
7.
7. The fans will be outraged, Caleb. Do you just
I'm going based on history.
7 plays.
Also, Josh Heupel might be trying to beef up Joe Milton's stats now that he's healthy and right. So he might be trying to have him throw for 7 touchdown passes before he pulls him. So
somebody asked
if for what?
Just so he can say, just to help Joe Milton's case.
I'm going to go over 15. John, over under 15.
I'm going right at 15.
Okay, portions of the program brought to you by Campbell Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn. Enjoy life better when you see better. Look at me, no contacts, no glasses. A LASIK, cataract surgery, and regular eye examination. ccteyes.com, ccteyes.com. In the quest to keep Nico
Iamaleava
on the bench forever, Daniel says if Merklinger signs in December, then he can start the bowl game, right?
I like that.
Yeah, if Joe Milton goes to the NFL, no, he's not allowed to play in the bowl game, but he can practice.